Welcome to Soft Talk. Today we have the retired Brigadier General of the Nepali Army, Suresh Sharma. He was also the spokesperson for the National Army, and he also served as a spokesperson for the Nepali Army. He leaves behind more than 3 decades of uh, service in the National Army. He has been associated with several think tanks, involved in several peacekeeping missions, United Nations peacekeeping missions around the world, and he is also associated with think tanks. He has written several articles in newspapers and journals. So, welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much, Devendraji. Thank you very much for having me here today.
The Prime Minister, KP Sharma Oli, is on a 4-day state visit to China. Expectations were quite high regarding his visit, but has those have those expectations been met? What's your reading from that vantage
Uh,
point?
you raised a very pertinent issue. Actually, in the beginning, we were quite nervous, not having been done any achievement in Beijing. But later, after having the 10 points um, agreement, yesterday we suddenly came to know that uh, the the agreement of BRI framework was done. And we were much elated having learned that. And I think we have done quite a bit of encouraging milestone now. So I'm thinking of very positive of this achievement now. And it is very remarkable, Devendra.
In your earlier article, you have written about this narrative of debt trap and specter of colonization that have been deliberately raised to downplay the importance of BRI in this region. This narrative stands true today as well.
Okay. This is a very very debatable issue. As you know that in BRI framework, more than 150 countries of the world are engaged in that. And many of those nations are middle income and low income category. Okay. And,
Mhm.
and what happens, who needs the money? The countries who does not have sufficient amount of funds to take their projects, so they need money. So in that category, a lot of countries they are already underdeveloped. Sometimes it happens, and the misutilization of funds and the way the funds are utilized cannot achieve the goal. So we can take the example of Hanuman Tota. In Hanuman Tota also, the same thing was there. Perhaps the Sri Lankan did not have that capital to go through the projects, and they needed money, and they had the Hanuman Tota, and later on that Hanuman Tota port was become very redundant. And the way they were thinking that the port will give them a lot of benefits, a lot of financial benefits that could not be realized. So these are the cases, and taking these cases and examples, the Western media they have prepared a narrative that these are debt traps. Actually, the financial assistance from the BRI to underdeveloped countries, the least developed countries, and middle income countries are not intentionally. There is no intention to to compel them to face the debt trap sort of thing. You understand that? So,
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, if of course, if those countries who cannot rightly utilize the funds, the financial assistance, they are bound to fall in the trap because every day the tax will be there and the compound effect of the tax will be colossal at the end of the year. And so it happens like that. So it is just a false narrative the Western countries have created, and it is not at all a dead trap.
Okay, but there is this saying that nothing is like there is no such thing called free lunch. China must have its own set of interests to fulfill through the BRI agreement with Nepal.
Right? The ambition of China was very wide, of course. They had trillions of dollars in their treasury, and they choose the path to have a good investment through the BRI. Of course, the Silk Road existed long, long back, and China had a very good trade in those time also. So this is the new Silk Road philosophy President Xi has envisioned. And with this, the connectivity, infrastructure development, and shared prosperity was the vision of China. And there is no compulsion of taking the loans from China. In some of, I'll give you some examples. There are certain cases where the host country has utilized 60% in those infrastructures, and the BRI project from China, they are providing 40%. 40%. Okay.
Mhm.
So, as you said, the free lunch, I said free lunch, of course, the trillions of amount that is invested in those countries also needs to get benefit from those, isn't it? They cannot give it for
Definitely.
free. Yeah. And, for example, if I want to take a loan from some commercial bank in Kathmandu, so I cannot go to the banks and I cannot approach them, okay, give me grant, don't give me loan. Can I say that? That is very, very impractical as far as this BRI, this thing is concerned. So I think narrative is something there. Utilization is fund is very much important. And the vision, of course, and what are the vision of the BRI and how to optimize, how to capitalize that vision? Because the good amount of money comes in our hand, and if it is rightly utilized in the projects, so it can really benefit us. So we have to think on that line.
But what this agreement seems to have covered a bunch of projects that are pretty small time, like a town hall thing and an industrial park, uh, technical school, that kind of thing. There is this talk of Xilong-Kathmandu railway. Then there is this talk of the agreement covers Kimathanka-Khandbari road and bridge, Hilsa-Simkot road, then Tokha Chahare tunnelway. So, do you think like it's only about signing those some of those lofty projects, but not going the full length when it comes to implementing them, like in the past?
Okay,
They are
right.
like Nepali leadership is gung ho when it comes to signing projects, but when it comes to implementing them, it always lags behind.
Right. Yes, this is the challenge, Devendraji. I also see. First of all, let us see those projects one by one. Like, Hilsa-Simikot, that is one of the strategic road connectivity project, actually. If it is realized, look at the tourist flow to Nepal and going to the Ban Sarovar. Nepal has a enormous touristic potential, as we all know, and that becomes the shortest route to Mansarovar, and that is really really strategic. And coming down to Toha Chhare, if you construct the tunnel, the traveling distance becomes very very short, and that gives you a lot of dividends. Okay, and that is also very strategic. And Kimathanka-Khandbari is again a very strategic north-south corridor. So that helps us to link with Xizang, Tibet, and Nepal, and even eventually to Calcutta. So that is also very strategic. The selection, as far as the selection of the project is concerned, I am really, satisfied. Of course, I am not a economist, but being a general citizen of this country, I think it will change. It will be a game changer eventually. And now the question, the challenge, as you raised correctly, is how to implement those. So at this moment, Nepal is, we are frightened to take the loan because the loan will ultimately put us in the debt trap. So that was also one fear, and that is very normal. So we could not go for big projects. Of course, while talking in BRI infrastructure development projects, there are very big, huge projects, but that is very risky, and that is, of course, at this moment, Nepal should not venture taking up those projects. But later on, after exercising small projects and with the success stories of these projects, then we can go for big projects. Because if you look at our potential in hydropower sector, it is so huge, isn't it? Like we
Definitely.
take the example of we can take the example of the private hydropower projects also. There are many people who have invested their money in the hydropower projects jointly, isn't it? And they are selling it to the Nepal Electricity Authority, and they're making a good profit, isn't it? So if the national government takes up these projects and launches those with the BRI funds, and some percentage of the fund will be our responsibility, some percentage of fund will be the China's responsibility, and we are talking about the cross-border transmission also, isn't it? And in Xizang, across our Rasua, they also they are also quite power hungry territory there. So it's a lot of potential, but we have to exercise very mathematically, very wisely, and of course, the strategic significance of BRI is there, and our wisdom and our calculation to optimize this BRI is very much needed.
We have learned some grim lessons in our relations with our neighbors. There have been frequent supply-related constraints. So this is behind reaching out to our northern neighbor to ensure a smooth flow of goods and services. That's why our leadership, that is my reading, that is why our leadership moved north a bit to overcome those supply related constraints that occur once in a while. So, do you think like we will be able to this engagement, this recent engagement with China will help us overcome those constraints? I'm raising
Of
this
course.
question. I'm raising this question because there was this transit and trade agreement, the agreements to use Chinese ports uh, during our previous engagement with China, but nothing has come of that.
Okay, right. Of course, the engagements are always beneficial to any countries. Okay, and if we recall the trade and transportation agreement that KP Sharma Oli, during his prime ministerships long ago, had done with China, that has given us a lot of confidence. Okay. And that has generated us great hope also. So, as you said, there were cases of constraints in regard to supply. So, I think there is no fear of such constraints in future. And with this, we can validate this sort of engagement has a great significance in long term, of course. And the connectivity, that there are more than 12 border crossing points between Nepal and China. Out of those, 6 are already they are coming in use, like Rasua, Tatopani, and in Mustang and Korala, and Hilsa is also the terrain feature is so easy that you can go across Tibetan autonomous regions territory without any hindrance. The only thing is we need to have a good road condition there because the snowfall and other impediments are not there. So, Devendraji, I will tell you, this connectivity, when it is enhanced, like we have already achieved the road and transportation agreement before. So, if the connectivity is enhanced in a larger extent, so there will be no fear in our mind that as you mentioned, the constraints of supply, will not come. So that is one great achievement for Nepal. And as President Xi Jinping in 2019, when he was in Kathmandu, he said, so Nepal is no more landlocked. So now it is land-linked now. So the air connectivity is being enhanced. It is more than sufficient now. And tomorrow, with the inflow of the tourists, it will be more. Now, there are regular flights to Beijing, Chengdu, Kunming, Lhasa, Guangzhou, so many. So, when the road connectivity is increased, so there's a lot of benefit, lot of opportunities, and only thing is we have to explore what the opportunities would be. So we have to think, the strategists, the planners, the policymakers should think, very seriously that what are our opportunities, how to, in my mind, it comes even Central Asian countries also. The Kazakhstan, Turkmenistan, the Xinjiang is connected to those countries. Like in India, they had the Tajikistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, and India, TAPI sort of thing. So India is thinking of the Middle East corridor. They are thinking of TAPI, sending their goods, materials, the interaction with the Central Asian states. So why should Nepal be so much in a ball and not thinking outside? We have to think out of box, isn't it? Our connectivity should be enhanced so much that there are a lot of opportunities which is not spelled now. If we explore, do the research, there will come more opportunities, and tomorrow our future will be very bright, Devendraji.
But it's still unclear whether money for these big ticket projects will come in the form of grant or aid or loan. That's a concern, isn't it?
I will tell you one thing. A long time back, I was in a program. I think you were also there. There was a think tank, the meeting. Many of those were from China, and few of them were from India and Sri Lanka also. And we discussed. Okay, Nepal's planning committee.
Darbar
Yeah. It was in Hotel Annapurna.
Yeah, definitely. I was.
You remember? Okay, and I was also there. I had opportunity to share my views there. So I'll tell you one thing. If we connect our border points till China with your own money, if the National Planning Commission of Nepal works on it, if we have a good road connection till the border points, so what will happen? From the other side, the China has already, connected to those points, isn't it? The free flow of materials, free flow of manufactured materials, free flow of agricultural materials, free flow of raw materials will be easy after that, isn't it? Let
Definitely.
us think about, let us think of our Sudur Paschim Ilaka, our Sudur Paschim, far western region, because in those parts, the people, they are struggling to how to manage their trade promotion with the China, because China, the other side is so close. You understand that? They are
Definitely.
struggling. In
Just
Kinkar,
across the border.
yeah, I read the news yesterday that the people in Kinkar, they were very nervous this time because they didn't find any projects connecting them towards China. So you
Mhm.
sell your products, you have foods there, vegetables there, so many agricultural products, and you do your some handicrafts sort of thing, cottage industries. So this is how the business will be promoted. So I will tell you, in 60s, Nepal was quite contented than India and China. So how China and India could grow that much today, and Nepal
Mhm.
lagged behind because we never thought of our promotion of our trade. You see, what is your potential? You have to explore that potential. You have to exploit that potential, isn't it? And the engagements, the more engagements you do, the more connectivity you do, you make, then the prosperity will come the following you. I think you agree with me, isn't it?
Definitely. These big ticket infrastructure projects, they definitely have a very important strategic component. But then our prime minister, our ministers, bureaucrats, like they seem to have a very narrow vision. They want a town hall in their constituency under such an umbrella project, maybe a technical school or something like that. But they are not thinking of the strategic component of those projects. They can be game changers in their own right. But the political leadership does not seem to be thinking big about uh, engagement with China, about projects to be undertaken with Chinese capital. That is the worry.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think instead of town hall, they should have thought of some industries which is related to herbal, because Nepal has enormous capacity to produce herbal medicine. I have tested herbal medicine in China also. And in Nepal also, we have a lot of herbal plants, medicinal plants. So they have given thought of that. When I was traveling to the far western region once, the poor small village boy came to me and he approached me, sir, we have a lot of oranges here and we do not have an industry which can produce juice. So he
Mhm.
said to me, and you are just complaining to me, and I had no I was not an authority to take his words to put it in the related branch, related department in Singadarwar. So I just listened and I just spent some time with him. So this is unfortunate, as you said very correctly that, and we have to select very strategic projects that should create jobs to the people, right? And that should have a potential to even export our products. If we can export our products, okay, hydroelectricity, we can export that. Herbal plants, herbal medicines, we can export that, isn't it? Even vegetables, we can export. Our vegetables is very quite high demand in Bangladesh. Our cabbage, our cauliflowers, everything, the high quality. I heard that our vegetables, they go to even Japan. So something strategic. You are very right. We have to think of what the Israelis will think. They said that the Arabs have oil to drill, but we have to drill our brain. The Israeli, they said that. So since you do not, you have only mountains. But what mountains can grow? Mountains can have a good livestock,
Mhm. Herbs,
good herbs, medicinal plants, isn't
definitely.
it? Many more. So
Mhm.
we cannot replicate others. Others. I mean, technology here. We cannot replicate others' ideas, but we have to have our own homegrown indigenous ideas to promote our this thing. So I think you raised a very good point. The selection of the project is very crucial as far as investment is concerned.
Then there is this geopolitical factor also. Will this engagement with China, even if it is rich in symbolism and maybe poor in substance, will it just send panic waves across the border and in the West?
I'm not sure how the government, the establishment will react. I'm not sure about it. But as far as the media is concerned, this morning I read many newspapers published in Delhi. They have given okay. So this is how China is trying to influence here and all. So that is not that concerned. So what will happen if China has influence in Nepal? So it is not their concern, and that the BRI will not bring so much of threat to them. So and it is nothing like the influence. Our good relation with any countries should not be a worrisome to them. Right?
Yeah.
It has nothing to. I'll tell you, Devendraji, if your neighbor is prosperous, it will help you. If neighbor is troublesome, if there is a problem in the neighborhood, ultimately it will drag you in that trouble also. So a stable, prosperous Nepal and Nepal's relation with many countries, the engagement should be a very happy moment to learn to our neighbors also.
We have come almost to the end of this edition of Soft Talk. Any parting thoughts? Any points I missed? I just forgot to raise in this episode?
No, I don't think so. You have brought so many, questions only related to our relation with China and BRI. See, our relation with China is age-old. China is a harmless country, and China has been giving assistance to us since 60s. And our friendship with China should be translated to a shared prosperity, and we should take advantage of this good relationship as always.
Just a passing thought, like when I was preparing a bit for this interview, this word, Achilles heel, came to my mind. Has China overcome its Achilles heel in Nepal with this engagement during the visit of Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli? That is the last question. Achilles heel,
Okay,
that
I'll tell you.
obstruction that was in Nepal regarding BRI.
So I'll tell you, in my reading, Devendraji, I think China is a huge country, a huge potential, very matured political system is there. Okay, and they are not concerned with the small debate what is going on in the neighborhood, right? And most of the things are media hype also. Actually, it is not there. Of course,
Yeah.
Nepal had great difficulty in writing in the MOU as a loan. Of course, we are not able to
Yeah.
take the loan, so they decided to have grants, and China did not agree with the grants, and they said assistance and
Financing.
highly,
Yeah.
yeah. So yesterday, eventually, it has been in the middle path. It has come in a middle path. So they understand that they understand our economic
Interest.
condition. They understand it. So uh, I'm happy that they always they understand our position. They always respect our position, and they suggest us to go with our position as well. So I think we have not done so much of bad thing now, because we have projected our interest, and they have given us suggestion, and we have reached to an that is how it is done. This is how it is done, and it is okay. It is okay. So it is perfectly done, and there is no sentiment, the hidden sentiment, as you mentioned the word Achilles, this thing. So no problem in it.
With this, we have come to the end of this edition of Soft Talk. Thank you for giving time for and your thoughts for this program. I hope to keep the conversation going in the coming days as well. Thank you.
Thank you, Devendraji. Thank you very much for giving me time. And thank you, Mehruz. We'll meet again. Thank you.